Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham. So glad that you are with us. We do have a list today. Today's list, in fact, is in honor of Miggy Cabrera joining the 3,000 hit club in Major League Baseball. You know, the last guy to get there was Albert Pujols in 2018. In that year, in 2018, that was the fourth straight year we had somebody joined the 3,000 hit club. It happened A-Rod in 2015, Ichiro in 2016, and Andre Beltran in 2017, and then Pujols in 2018. So now we get Miggy in 2022, 4 years later. And no one else is even close. No one else is even close. Robinson Cano has 2,630 hits, so he's 170 shy. No, check that. He's 370 shy. He's 370 hits shy, and he's 39 years old. He's not going to get it. He's signed through next season. He's not going to get there. 36-year-old Yadi Molina has 2,100. Oh, good. We got Miggy in studio. Nice. Miggy is in studio. Hang on here. Let me hit this right here so I can see Chris. Miggy is in studio with Chris. It's a good job by him. Yachty has got 2,116. He's 38 years old. Joey Votto has 2,035 hits. He's 38 years old. That's the complete list of people over 2,000. That's the over 2,000 list. I mean, it's nuts. So today's list, who are the possible 3,000 hit guys in the future? What, is anybody going to have 3,000 hits? You know, nobody's going to have 300 wins. We had a guy pitch a complete game last night, Walker Buehler. The heck was up with that? The guy went out there like he closed for himself. I mean, what was up with that? I can guarantee you we are not going to get 300 win guys anymore. Not. And the 20-win season is a rumor. What was the 20-win season is now like a 15-win season or 16-win season. But who are the potential guys that could get to 3,000 hits in the future? Well, MLB.com has listed 10. I will share those with you. Now, if you know where you want to go with the show, because it is your show, you can call the show at 256-576-4977. You can text the show at 7329-TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's Twitter feed is 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show on Twitch. Right there, I'm looking at it. You can watch the show on Twitch. Looks cool. Become a follower on Twitch. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel, which is 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You might think you're a subscriber, but you're not if you were following our old channel, the new channel about a year ago or so. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Like and subscribe there, get notifications, and so on. We also have a very active Facebook page for you at 97.7 ESPN. All kinds of info, show clips, stories, important stuff there. Important things are going on at the Facebook page. Just go to 977ESPN.com, get links to all of that. The .com is cool, too. And get the app. With the app, you get links to Zone 2, 3, and 4 as well, our alternate streaming channels. And things are going to get nuts later this week. Now, tonight and tomorrow night, we have the Braves and the Cubs starting on Zone 2, and then switching to on-air after the drive. Thursday, we have the Tide and the Gamecocks in the final regular season series of the season, plus the Braves and the NFL Draft. So you need to stay on top of all our social pages where you can find out where all of that programming is. Because as we say over and over again, everything that matters is right here. Now, yesterday we mentioned the story about the possible return of UAH Charger hockey. We should just call ourselves the 97.7 ESPN The Zone Network. We are our own network of stations. We are our own network of stations. Someday I'll tell the story about how this all came about and who had the idea, because you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe who came up with the idea for this network that we have. And if anybody else does it, they're just copying us. They're just copying us, which is the greatest form of flattery, I guess. Anyway, we mentioned the possible return of UAH Charger hockey. You can read about it at our Facebook page. The link is there at the Facebook page. Apparently, the supporters of the program have some $17 or $18 million committed to the program. If they could just get the Chargers into a league, into a conference. Now, there are currently 5 teams playing as independents in D1 hockey. 2 teams in Alaska, Arizona State, Robert Morris, which I think is in Virginia, Robert Morris? Robert Morris is in Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, Virginia, they're all the same. It's in Pennsylvania. And Long Island University. Long Island University and 2 teams in Alaska. A team in Arizona and a team in Pennsylvania. Those are your independents. Do you want to join that? I don't think so. Playing as an indie is tough. But can this program come back to life? One of the drivers behind the whole thing is Sheldon Walensky, a successful businessman who played at UAH in the D2 days back in the mid-'90s, and he's coming up in a few minutes with an update. Very fascinating local story. Coming up at the top of the 11, Bo Estes from NBA TV and .com is back with a playoff update. The Celtics completed the sweep of Brooklyn last night. Thank God. Get them the heck out of here, Brooklyn. Celtics are pretty good. And the Mavericks have pushed Utah to the wall, going up 3-2 in that one. Tonight, Atlanta tries to stay alive in Miami on NBA TV. Good luck with that. The Grizzlies and the Timberwolves. By the way, if somehow the Hawks get out of this funk, and if somehow Trae Young goes off, and if somehow they win the game, Game 6 is back in Atlanta. You never know. You know what I mean? Game 6 is back in Atlanta. If they win tonight, they could win Game 6 and actually push this thing to 7. My gut reaction is this Atlanta season comes to an end at about 8:30 tonight, Central Time, but I don't know. We'll see. The Grizzlies and the Timberwolves have a huge Game 5 in Memphis. By the way, Jay Morant, the most improved player in the NBA. That's a noun, not a verb. I mean, he won the most improved player award in the NBA. I'm not saying he was too. I guess it's an adjective and a noun. He won the award. Pelicans and Suns have a Game 5 tonight. They're tied at 2. That one's in Phoenix. The Suns had the best record in the NBA this season, but the Devin Booker injury has them on the ropes. Pat McAfee says the USFL is dead. Now, I don't know if he means like dead, like the league will cease to exist, or dead where it's just like dead when you watch it. It's just dead. That might be what he means. I don't know. I am concerned on a number of levels as well. Mostly with the time of year and the games all being played in Birmingham. Now, the viewership for Friday night's Snooze Fest on the USA Network was only around 363,000 as the Generals beat the Panthers 10-6. The USA game, you got to compare network to network to network. You can't compare a USA game with a Fox game or an NBC game or, an FS1 game. So you compare it to the other USFL game. Or USA game, I should say. USA Network game. The USA Network game on Easter Sunday had double that audience. Now, it was Easter Sunday, but it was Easter Sunday. And it was beautiful weather around the country. Numbers, and it was the only game with any people in the stands. I'm telling you, it means something. There's a reason why, even though nobody could leave their house during the pandemic, there is a reason why viewership was down in sports during the pandemic. Part of it is the atmosphere. If nobody's at the game, it's just not as good. There's no crowd. It's just not. It doesn't play well on TV. You can't put fake people in there. You can't do remember what they did during the pandemic? They actually superimposed, what do they call that, CGI or FBI or, USFL. They actually put people in the seats. Yeah, that was dumb. The XFL absolutely needs to get teams in their cities next year. They got to get them in their cities. They cannot. You might on one hand say, well, the USFL got the jump on the X. Yeah, but the X also got to see what didn't work. It's not working playing in one location. It's the Spring League playing in one location. It's like watching practice. There's more people at NFL practices, camps in the summertime than there are at that game. McAfee is saying the same things I said in yesterday's Unleashed. Right? He's saying the same things. That doesn't mean that the league can't afford a second season. But I will say this now. This is one of the things I have determined. I'd rather see February through April. I would be more into February through April than April through July. I'm telling you, man. I'm fighting it with outside, and I'm fighting it with the NHL playoffs getting ready to start, the NBA playoffs, baseball. I'm fighting it. I will be less apt to fight it in February, even here in the South. It's still not great weather. I could watch an XFL game. I could watch a spring game the week after the Super Bowl. I could sit there in my Barca lounger when it's 39 degrees out and drizzling and watch the game. I can't do this now. I got fish to catch. I got projects to do outside. I got fences to put up, and I got grass to mow, and I got stuff to do. And the NBA and NHL playoffs. Not to mention golf majors. This USFL season is being played around the same time not only as the Masters, started a little bit after the Masters, but, we're going to have a PGA Championship and a U.S. Open on 2 of the weekends that the USFL only has 8 weekends. What is it going to look like or 10 weekends, I should say? They have 10 weekends plus their playoffs. What are you going to watch, a U.S. Open, the PGA Championship, or spring football? I don't buy the argument about, well, you need big-name players. It takes time to make names. I think you can make names in a spring league. But we don't know them the first few weeks of the season. But then you start a few weeks in, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. Or this is Shamar Smith. What's he going to do next? So I'm not buying that argument. But a lot of what Pat McAfee is saying is the same thing I'm saying. He wants to see developmental players out of the NFL on these teams. A.J. Hawk notes that there's nobody in the stands at the game. Well, they're playing in a neutral site. Who in the heck is going to and it's weird because the Birmingham Stallions, it says Birmingham in front of it. It's just it's just a game. It's not Alabama or Auburn. But because it says Birmingham, people go to the game. When the Generals and the Panthers play, it's just a football game. Not a soul goes because it's New Jersey and Michigan. What if they hadn't put the names on the teams, the cities? What if they just had the Panthers and the Generals and the Stallions and the Bandits and the Gamblers and the Breakers and the Stars? And you didn't know which team was your team. But by saying it's Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, nobody wants to go to Philadelphia-Pittsburgh game in Birmingham. We'll go see the Stallions play, though. All right. That's some baseball I want to get into as well. Over there in that little glass booth, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax, a man on the phones, and keeping us on the air, and gripping just a little bit. Will he watch Cubs-Braves, or will he watch Hawks and Heat? It's DJ Grizzy, Atlanta Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm
I'm jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
What gets more of your eyeballs tonight? The Cubs and the Braves. Well, you might not be able to watch Cubs and Braves.
No, I'll be able to watch it. I'll be able to watch it.
Or the Hawks and – do you really?
Yeah,
okay, good.
I got a friend.
You have to explain. Or the Hawks and the Heat. You know, what gets more of your eyeballs? Do you watch the one that has a chance to win? Is that how you watch it? Or do you watch one or the other? And then which one is the one you watch during commercials?
I'm probably going to watch the Braves during commercials, but I'll definitely watch Hawks and Heat throughout because I want to be able to see what'll happen. I love the playoffs, and especially if I have a team that I root for, like the Hawks in the playoffs, and see if they can be able to stretch it to Game 6, possibly Game 7, would be really nice. But it's going to be really hard if you're not scoring outside of Trae Young. Jimmy Butler's going crazy for the Heat. You got to keep him. You got to keep him at around like 30. You can't, you know what I mean. You because everybody else on the Heat is not really a guy that's going to hurt you scoring. So the reason why the Heat are playing so well against the Hawks is they're playing really good defensive basketball, and that's the issue that the Hawks have. They have guys that just don't. I just wouldn't say that they don't have the effort. They just don't have the talent for sure on defense. Trae Young definitely can't stop anybody on defense.
So they're down 14.
And yeah,
in the early in the second half, Braves are tied 2-2.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, switching it back to the Braves.
Yeah.
Because I'll have it up. I'll have the Gamecast up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing about it is like I said, it's the playoffs. It's the NBA playoffs. I'm very, very invested into it. I'm really looking forward to that Phoenix game later in the night as well. So no Devin Booker for the Suns, and it's going to get really rough for them if he can't play, because the Pelicans are playing really well. Ingram, McCollum, and then Herb Jones. I mean, playing 35.
Can you imagine if they actually had Zion Williamson?
Yeah, if he was, yeah, if
you know
he was,
what I mean?
yeah,
and
if he was
Anthony
actually
Davis.
in shape and trying.
Can you imagine the team they could have if they had a team? Anthony Davis is at home. Zion Williamson is at home eating, a bucket of chicken or something. I don't know what the heck he's doing. He's gotten so fat.
Well, the other guy on the other end, that rookie class, that same rookie class, John Morant, most improved player. Everyone says Jordan Poole. Yeah, he ranked 4th in that ranking, and I'll tell you right now, John Morant went from scoring 17, 18 points a game to 27 points a game. He's almost averaging close to 30 points a game, where this guy is the star. He is that was the most improved
I'm into
player.
them.
He's the only player other than being a Memphis player. He's the only player in the league that's ever won the Rookie of the Year and the Most Improved Player of the Year. So
I'm into them, and I'm into Dallas. All right. And
I love Dallas. Yeah.
I can't believe Dallas hasn't won a playoff series since they won a championship in 2011.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just mind-boggling to me that they have not won since then. It's crazy.
Well,
go
ahead.
Let me get Benny in here because we got to get to the break. Keep this thing on path. Benny, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Y'all doing good today?
Fantastic. Couldn't be any better.
I just had a comment to make. I totally agree with you on the 3,000 hit. There will not be anybody in our lifetime, mine and yours, to get the 3,000 hit.
Well, are you sure?
I mean, how? Two reasons.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a second here. How old are you?
I'm 67.
All right, so you're a few years older than me. I'm 61, so we're both going to live 20 more years. You don't think none of these guys will get there? You don't think Manny Machado or Mike Trout or Bryce Harper or Xander? You don't think any of those guys will get there either?
No, and it's mainly because of two reasons. The injuries that they have today is stuff that was played through back 30 or 40 years ago. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them was played through, plus the deal, they got guys that's making $20 million. They can't play 3 days in a row, especially a day game after a night game. And it's just totally different philosophy behind baseball. Now, it's all about the money. They don't want to take a chance on losing, the next contract or whatever because of the super injury,
No, you're right. I mean, think about how many hits that is. I mean, that's like 150 hits a year. Remember when the 200 hit year was a big deal? Remember when Pete Rose had like 200 hits for 10 years in a row or some crazy thing like that?
Oh, yeah.
But, now the big deal is, let's see, 3,000 divided by 20 years, 150, right? Yeah, 150 hits a year. Just to put 150 hits a year into perspective, Mike Trout is 30 years old right now, and he's almost halfway there. He's 30 right now, okay?
What's killed him so far, though?
Yeah, well, here's the deal. His last 3 years, 123, 147, 137, then the pandemic, and then he doesn't play last year. So, yep. I mean, he'll have to have, if he plays until he's 40, he'd have to have like 200 hits a year several times. He hasn't had, his biggest year ever was 190 hits, and it was in 2013. It's been 9 years since Mike Trout had 190 hits. It's not going to happen.
No, and see, that's like back in the Pete Rose days. The leader, in especially in the National League or whatever, would have around 700 to 750 at-bats a year. You don't see that no more.
Well, 600 was kind of like, 600 official at-bats. Yeah, plate appearances, you're right. 600, 600 was kind of like the number, But that's good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good take, Benny. Good job by you.
Thanks.
All right. Appreciate you. All right, let's get a break in here. When we come back, could UAH Charger hockey be resuscitated again? Sheldon Walensky is up next. He's one of the dudes that's behind this whole thing right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Baseball hosting the Cubs starting tonight. Atlanta -175 on the money line. 6.5 point 700. Zandon +1,000 with Messier and Chargett at +1,200. The 2022 Derby a week from Saturday.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Trash Pandas are at home this week playing their in-state rival, the Birmingham Barons. Thursday night features the first bobblehead giveaway of the season. Friday and Saturday always include post-game fireworks, and on Sundays, kids get to run the bases. Get your tickets now at TrashPandasBaseball.com. Trash Pandas Baseball. Have a blast. Let's rock it.
This April, the Korn Ferry Tour returns to the Rocket City for the 2022 Huntsville Championship at the Ledges. Experience the beauty and drama of the Ledges in person as golf's rising stars chase their PGA Tour dreams. From the first man on the green to the roar of the crowd when the final putt drops. Be a part of every moment on the mountain. April 28th to May 1st. Tickets to be a part of the action are on sale now at HuntsvilleChampionship.com.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
When we say local, we mean local, not Birmingham.
Loser.
We are the only sports talk station in Huntsville. It's all right here. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've got a magical glow.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, more of the Thom Abraham Show on your home for Crimson Tide Sports, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Valley Equipment Rental now has 2 locations to serve you better. The contractors out there are going to love their North Parkway location out there north of Winchester Road. That's where you're going to find those dozers and those larger excavators, bigger lifts, things like that. They got more room out there for that kind of equipment. It took some of the stress off the South Parkway location, which still has skid steers and mini excavators and, of course, all the hand tools, compressors, all the stuff you need to get the job done like a pro is at Valley Equipment Rental. Ross Roberts and his team very invested in the area because they're from the area. They're born and raised in the area, and he does a tremendous job out there at Valley Equipment Rental. Look, successful guys like Sheldon Walensky and his buddies, they didn't become successful by just quitting on something and by just giving up, on a project. They continue to battle at it, and they continue to try and make things happen, and that's why they're successful in business. And they're doing the same thing with UAH hockey, and the possibility is still out there for UAH hockey to be back. I didn't think there was any chance of this ever happening until I saw this story that was posted at NHL.com. And Sheldon joins us now on a Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Sheldon, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. How you doing this morning?
I am fantastic. I thought this thing was dead. You know what I mean? I mean, when they killed it the last time, you guys did all that great work to shore it up, and the number was $750,000 that they needed for that one season, and so on. And ex-players who were successful businessmen got together and saved the deal, and then they end up having to shut down anyway without a conference. I thought it was dead in the water. Did you guys ever stop working towards bringing this back?
Yeah, you know what, and I appreciate that. I think there's a lot of people that thought the same thing, and it's understandable. I think we could have done a better job communicating the agreement that we made with UAH administration, but at the end of the day, we definitely agreed that we weren't going to play an independent schedule for indefinite, and that we raised the money, we saved the program, and during that time, it gave us a lifeline to continue to put together a long-term strategy and ultimately get in a conference. So we did agree with the UH administration that in order for us to continue to play, it makes sense for us to be in a conference. And unfortunately, we put in 2 aggressive bids to get in 2 conferences, and unfortunately, just the timing. I think it didn't have anything to do with UAH because there was a number of other schools that also bid that got denied. There was just a lot of moving parts that were happening with college hockey, COVID, everything related. So we ultimately made the decision to respectfully honor our word and let's take a sabbatical from college hockey. But, the fire was still cooking. Like we agreed with Cade. He was going to stay on calls. We were going to monitor what was going on with college hockey. And here we are, a year later where there's some movement and, we've got some action happening. So,
yeah.
I was just on a call this morning that all the independent teams, Fairbanks, Anchorage, ASU, Utica, Linwood, Long Island, and they're including us on the call. There's talk about creating a conference with all the independents.
How does that change? I mean, if they created a conference of those independents, you're talking about a conference that stretches from Alaska to Long Island, with Pennsylvania and Alabama and Arizona. I mean, I don't know. I guess it would give the name Conference USA a whole nother meeting. How does that make it any better if you guys are a conference as opposed to independents that are, you could still schedule each other as independents, but then you still have to go into some of these other conferences and get them to schedule you as well. So to explain to our listeners how the independent group becoming a 6 or 8 team conference is advantageous.
Yeah, ultimately the goal is we're part of it is just to see who's in. We've got Fairbanks and Anchorage are leading this, which we appreciate. But ultimately the goal, would be to have an AQ for the tournament. And
right.
At the end of the day, let's face it. We've heard from all these coaches that play independent. It's hard to recruit, and the kids want to play for something. Like it's like I played independent. When I first came to Huntsville, and man, everyone wants to play for a championship or play for a win or a trophy or whatever. And it's you can see it in the players and how they show up when they're just playing for bragging rights, I guess. So to me, I think that'd be the ultimate goal. Is to create a conference where we have an AQ, and again, I think it would be phenomenal. And I will tell you, there's a lot of things that are happening in college hockey. There's a lot of movement. I think the timing is a lot better now than it was in the past. But I agree with you. I mean, it's not perfect. But if you've got the coaches that are, this is a coaching call. If they're all willing to lock arms and go to the ADs and the presidents and say, this is what we want for our players, and ultimately it'll help every team in the future, I think it could be good for college hockey.
The stunning revelation in the article was this commitment of $17 million. I mean, we had heard numbers like $750,000. Now we hear that the budget is about $1.8 million per season. I don't know if that includes having to pay teams to come into Alabama or not, or all that makes up that budget. We knew that there was maybe a little bit of a better deal that was done with the city regarding the arena, but $17 million in commitments. How firm is that money with the program not playing right now, with there being no players and no coach and having to be basically starting from scratch? Do you still feel, because that's more than just you and Tasso and and Cam Talbot, you know what I mean? That obviously that's a lot of people that are involved making that kind of a commitment.
Yeah, so the alumni commitment hasn't changed, and that's half of the $1.8 million yearly budget. That hasn't changed. We've got obviously, a new president that's at UH that we've got a call set up with. We haven't met him yet, but all we're hearing is that he's big time supports college sports. So we're excited. I think it's a new beginning for us. Cade has always been there supporting UH. He's been incredible. So, as far as we're concerned, we haven't been notified that anything has changed on UH's side as far as their commitment on the other half. Again, it's just we're missing a conference. So yeah, it's the money's there. This is a 20-year commitment for us.
Could that include the potential of an on-campus arena, a 4,000 seat or whatever on-campus arena where games could be played there, and all of that money, regardless of whether it's parking, concessions, ticket money, whatever, is all kept within the university, and also you could have other events there and things like that could that could make it make sense. Is there still a potential something like that could happen?
Yeah, it's always been the chicken and the egg, because as we were going through saving the program and trying to get into a conference, what we kept on hearing from the other teams and coaches is that what would solidify the program is that we build the rink and then we'll get a conference. Well, that's a lot of money, that's a lot of commitment. There's still a NHL rink sitting in Quebec City, and they built it hoping that an NHL team is going to come and it has it. So right now they're playing Pee Wee tournaments in there. So, for us, we made the call, like we need conference, then a rink. And that's another thing that Paso and I and some alumni were willing to invest in the rink and into Huntsville.
It seems to be, and I'm just looking at it. I mean, look, I'm a guy that played in 1980. I was playing in the private college athletic conference. We played RIT's JV. It was the equivalent of a D3 type conference back then. And of course, there's no D2 in college hockey. So I've kind of been around the horn with this. And ECAC hockey was the Big East. That's all we ever talked about. ECAC, that was the deal. We played some of those places. Their JV teams and things like that in the PCAC. But having said that, when I look at the state of college hockey right now and the way these conferences are set up, it feels like the NCHC makes sense. There's Colorado, there's Denver. I don't know why Air Force is over there in a different conference, but it just, when I look at that conference, and it's only got 8 teams in it, they just don't want to be any bigger. I mean, what is the dynamic behind? Because some of these conferences have 10, 12 teams in them, and NCHC has 8. Why don't they want Arizona State and UAH? It would be, it seemed like it would fit.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, from what we understand, I mean, at the I think it's either you need 7 or 8 teams in order to have an AQ. So ultimately, the goal, like that's the Atlantic, for example, I think they already have 11 or 12. They didn't want to include us primarily because they don't want more competition. Because I actually want, if I'm a coach, I want less teams. I want the minimum number of teams to qualify, because my chances just go up exponentially. So I think that's what they're thinking ultimately. And we were hoping that Atlantic, the goal was to maybe they add all the teams and maybe we could split off into 2, interconference divisions with the Atlantic and have 2 AQs. So, ultimately that wasn't the case, but I think your thinking is right. But I think that's where they're looking at it competitively on an AQ.
In the Atlantic, again, Air Force seems like an outlier. I mean, for them, everybody talks about, Huntsville, Alabama. Well, first of all, you can get out of Huntsville, Alabama easily. And secondly, if you're in anything that is in this kind of Midwest block, it really, it's same time zone pretty much. And it's really not a hard thing to do. But if Air Force can play with Canisius and Mercyhurst and Niagara and RIT, I don't understand why, Alabama is considered so much of an outlier. Is that the biggest issue that people think about Alabama, is that we're just out here by ourselves?
We interviewed so many coaches. People love coming to Huntsville. I'm just going to, up front, people love coming. They get a break from the cold. They're walking around their flip-flops and shorts. So it's not that. I think at the end of the day, what it boiled down to, and we take ownership for this, is the experience that they had with regards to, showing up to the rink. We had to share prime time with the Havoc. There was just a lot of things that didn't go right, where even though they were having a great experience in Huntsville, because it's a great city, the overall hockey experience wasn't great. And plus we weren't competitive. It just was like an easy couple wins. So, we have a strategy to, if we can get this back on track, we've got a strategy for that. But we learned a lot of things on how things were handled when teams were showing up.
It feels like, and the CCHA, I mean, that was the other one. A lot of those teams are teams that were, that UAH was in a conference with in the past. It seems like you had an opportunity at one point in time possibly to get in there. This deal with St. Thomas, they were in, they were out. Tell me about that deal there, because I thought for a minute it looked like they may need UAH.
Well, that was a great example. I mean, they decided to exit the WCHA and create their own conference. They excluded us, Anchorage and Fairbanks, and they initially said it was because of the travel, but ultimately what we found out, it wasn't about the travel. It was that was what was said to the media, but ultimately it was all the other things that I just talked about, and all of them said, hey, if you guys want to take hockey seriously, and then we'll talk. And that was, hey, loud and clear. We get that, and that's where we put that strategy together on how to elevate the game. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to be an average team. Like, we've got so much exposure, being the furthest south team and NCAA and Huntsville, and there's so much history. Why be average? And that was when Taft and I decided to, put in, almost $1 million a year of our own money. Our only agreement was like, we're going to do this world class in everything we do, and that's it. So, that if I can promise you, if we can get back in and we, can get into a conference and this happens, my commitment and Tasso's commitment, and UH for that matter, is that we're here to win, and we're here to put together a great program.
It did. It struggled down the stretch, at the end there was no doubt. But you're right. There is a rich history. I mean, this team won at the club level. This team won at the D2 level. This team went to the NCAA tournament. I mean, they were playing Notre Dame like 5 years after they got to fully, the D1. They're playing Notre Dame in the NCAA tournament. I think had Notre Dame on the ropes a little bit in that game. Ended up, I think, losing like 3-2 or something like that. Then it went sideways at the end. There was no doubt about it. And, and it was tough. I think the community would really support it if there was, regular, if they were regularly competitive. I think that's a big part of it. With the budget that you guys have set, assuming you were able to get into a conference, is there enough money there for recruiting? Is there enough money there to get kids out of Canada to come here? Is there enough money and out of the Northeast where, in the upper Midwest, and is there enough money there to get the right kind of coach that could make this thing work?
Yeah, we've gone up and down. We've had multiple people give it the sniff test on, do we have our numbers in the right place? And yeah, that 1.8 would give us what we need to start out initially to put a great coaching, amazing kids, recruiting it. But again, it's that whole thing. When we talk about putting a great product on the ice, and we have to win in Huntsville. It's not a traditional hockey market. It's great. It feels good. The fans want to see a winning team. It's hard to recruit kids when, you're not in a conference or independent. When they're talking other schools, they're going to choose them, even if it's in a worse location, because that's sort of, they're looking at potentially going to the NHL or furthering their career.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're right about the area, because I know when I was in Nashville, I couldn't believe how many players that played for the Predators ended up staying and living in the Nashville area and then down here in Huntsville. I mean, you got guys like Glenn DeTulio who's been coaching here forever. It's a great community. They are having, they average 4,500 a night every night for several years now. A lot of the guys that come down and play for the Havoc stay in the area and in the community. So I think it could be a unique experience for players. Once you get one, you get three, then you get six, and and it becomes a cool place to play.
100%. And let's look at the overall economics. Like, I just opened up an office in Huntsville a few years ago, and we support talent acquisition for corporations. Huntsville is blowing up. I mean, if they haven't taken over, Birmingham as population-wise, they will soon. Corporations are moving there. People need entertainment, and there's just doesn't have that yet. So, the economic supports an NCAA, hockey team and all NCAA, just overall entertainment. And, administration and the enrollment is growing. I mean, when I was there, it was like, I don't think it was 3,000, 4,000 kids. And we quadrupled that. So it just makes sense. I mean, if I'm a business guy, which is I am, I'm like, I wouldn't be putting my money into this program unless I thought there was a future for success.
Yes, Sheldon. Huntsville now, I think, at 202 in Huntsville proper in population. Birmingham at about 198. Huntsville has exceeded Birmingham. The area down there, because Hoover has almost 100,000 people, the area down there is still bigger. But Birmingham versus Huntsville, and it is such a eclectic area. There's so many people from up north that come here for the base and everything else that love hockey. It's why hockey has worked, over the years. And I know my son will graduate on Monday from UAH, and it was one of the things that was it was a bummer for him. When he said, he found out there wasn't going to be hockey, and he works in the sports department, he works with the basketball and the baseball and all that stuff, but he was like, damn, I wish we had a hockey team back, and
big time.
So
it creates a lot of camaraderie with the students. I remember those days.
Yeah, I mean, it really did put on. I didn't understand when I got here in 2004. I didn't understand why they called it the hockey capital of the South. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? And then and then I realized, with UAH, and it was so cool. All right, well, I wish you the best of luck staying on top of this story, because I think it would be great for the area. Absolutely right. This area is blowing up, and to have one program, one of our college programs competing at the D1 level. We've seen what UNA did with football. They went D1. Jacksonville State has gone D1 in football as well. So we're seeing other states, other universities in the state going to D1. There's no reason why UAH can't be playing D1 hockey. Just got to get one of these leagues to take you in, man.
Well, we'll get there, buddy. You know what? All the media helps, so we appreciate you reaching out. We appreciate the support.
All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, Sheldon Walensky. Good job by that guy. Be great to have. Got to win, though. I mean, that's the way it is in Huntsville. We love you, win or tie. I mean, it's, they were not very good at the end. And I could see, he kind of gave us a couple of little hints there of what was going on when the CCHA was formed and the WCHA went away. And basically all the teams went except for Alaska and Huntsville. Well, I understand why Alaska, that is a travel issue. Huntsville's not a travel issue. Not for Bemidji State, not for Bowling Green, which is in Toledo, not the Bowling Green in Kentucky, the Bowling Green in Toledo, not for Ferris State, not for Michigan Tech, Minnesota State. They're up there a ways, but it's all in the same time zone, and it wasn't a travel issue there. It was you guys are not committed like we're committed. Keep having, 3 and 4 win seasons. You weren't committed like we were committed. Not a commitment is there. It takes money to be committed. Not a money is there. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now, because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Whoa, Greg's up.
He's never up this early.
Hey, guys. Okay, so this is called the Bell Breakfast Box from Taco Bell.
Oh, thanks. I can read. And that's a coffee. Helps you open your eyes.
And that's a breakfast burrito. You can start from either end.
You guys always this condescending in the morning? Pretty much.
Wake up with the new $5 Bell Breakfast Box, filled with a grande toasted breakfast burrito, hash brown, 2 Cinnabon Delights, and a coffee. At limited participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only. Contact local store for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra. Drinks excludes freezes.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship Jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's Club Repair Shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslandinggolf.com. That's gunnerslandinggolf.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Gone are the 80s across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s under a partly sunny sky. Dropping into the lower 40s as we head into the overnight. Plenty of sunshine for your Wednesday. Really is going to be a beautiful day, though once again, temperatures a bit below average. Highs again only climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s. Mid and upper 40s as we head into the overnight. Plenty of sunshine through your Thursday afternoon. Temperatures back in the mid and upper 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Who wants coffee? Anybody wants coffee?
Time for you to get me off the hook. Type say. The tire's tired. Thom Abraham, weekdays from 10 till noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All lines are open. Feel free to jump in 256-576-4977. Adam Ward hit the Twitter window. I am not a hockey fan. It's not that I don't like it. I just have never gotten into it. That said, I find this interview about UAH hockey on the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN absolutely fascinating. Great conversation. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate that. It's great to have open minds. You want to have open minds. Speaking of open minds, Wolverine Dan is up. Wolverine Dan, welcome to the show. How are you? Wolverine Dan.
All right, brother, let's touch on a bunch of things in a short amount of time. Let's start with the first thing, trivia. Who's the Stanley Cup player that played for UAH back in the day and he won with New Jersey Devils?
I'm going to know this. He's now with the wasn't he with the Washington Capitals? I thought he won with the Washington Capitals. Who is it? What's his name?
No, it was New Jersey. Back in the day, it was Cole, Darren Cole.
Danton.
Or Cole.
Danton
Last
Cole.
name was Cole, I believe.
Danton Cole.
Danton Cole.
Danton Cole. Did he win with the Devils? I thought he won with the okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Devils.
Okay.
No, Devils.
All right.
So check it out. So here we go. Your phone, I got you on speakerphone most of the time. But you know, in my Ford Ranger, in my armrest, if I stick it in the cup holder for my coffee, dude, it's like triple the volume.
Really? That's good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah.
With that's very good. I get Thom Abraham triple volume.
Triple volume. You might want to turn me down a little bit.
Real quickly. Yeah. No, I like it like that. Well, I'm losing my hearing, so it works. So, and then I'm not sure about the next 3,000 hitter in baseball, but I do know this. Since, Matt won that Super Bowl, he's a lock for the Hall of Fame, Tom. He's got the numbers. Now he's got the Super Bowl. Don't you agree?
I am not going there yet. I'm not saying he's a lock for the Hall of Fame at all yet.
What?
I'm not. I'm not. I gotta dig into the.
Your words.
I gotta dig into the numbers more. I'm not saying it. Stafford's a lock yet for the Hall of Fame. A lot of guys win Super Bowls. Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Speaking of eating, you might want to be careful with that bucket of chicken. A little blast with the NBA player, because don't you remember back in the day at the Masters, old Fuzzy Zeller doing the old bucket of chicken thing with? Oh yeah. So you
I eat a bucket of
brother.
I had a bucket of chicken last night. You know, I mean, I assume that guys in the NBA eat chicken. I eat chicken. Grizz eats chicken. You know, I don't think, whatever he's eating too much of it.
Yeah, but you know how when Fuzzy did that,
Yeah, that was different because he said you people. Whatever it is, you people eat. The way he said that was different.
Whoa. All right, brother, as usual. Love you like a brother.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Can't wait to see that property. All right, hour number 1's in the hopper. When we come back, NBA playoffs update with Bo Estes. Plus much more to get to. Mike Florio says that the NFL draft is un-American. Get into that as well. It's Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Since 1935, Roto-Rooter plumbers have been trusted and recommended as the premier provider of plumbing and drain cleaning services in Huntsville. Available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Roto-Rooter is here for you. Emergency service, water heaters, plumbing and drains, and water damage. If you need plumbing services, contact the one name to know, Roto-Rooter. Schedule now at rotorooter.com/HuntsvilleAL.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name, and away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. No regrets for Kevin Durant after getting swept in the playoffs. Said there's no use crying over spilled milk. Durant, following the Game 4 loss to the Celtics in that first-round NBA playoff series, said now it's about how the Nets can progress and find solutions as an organization to get better. He also made it clear he'd like Steve Nash to return as coach in Brooklyn next season, citing what Nash had to deal with: first-time coach, trades, injuries, and COVID. Jazz shooting guard Donovan Mitchell will undergo an MRI today on the hamstring injury he sustained last night. He is optimistic he'll be available for the must-win in Game 6 against the Mavericks on Thursday night. Suns guard Devin Booker ruled out of Game 5 tonight versus the Pelicans, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN app. Series is tied at 2 games apiece. No timetable yet for Booker's return from a hamstring injury.
So who is Wes Neighbors?
He's going to put an ass whooping meter on next year.
Does Wes know?
1 or 2 or 3 cans whoop ass.
We can all figure it out. Weekday afternoons, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho. Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. The segment of the show brought to you by the Service Department at Woody Anderson Ford. It's second to none. they will get the job done right for you. That's Woody Anderson Ford, Woody Anderson of Madison. When you go on in there, you're going to talk to folks in the service lanes that aren't just going to take your name down and look at you with drool coming out of their mouth or something. They're gonna know what's going on. I mean, they're going to be able to kind of do a little quick diagnosis of what's going on and make sure that your vehicle gets repaired properly and gets into the right spot to get fixed up. And their shops are amazing. I mean, it looks like a NASCAR garage in there. I mean, it just is absolutely amazing. It's Woody Anderson Ford. All right, joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, a guy that does a tremendous job as well covering the NBA for NBA TV, NBA.com. He's our NBA go-to guy. Used to be a NASCAR guy, maybe still a fan. I mean, who couldn't be a fan of what went on over the weekend at Talladega? He is, of course, Bo Estes. Bo, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm always happy when the small team wins. That's the extent of my knowledge on this. My old co-host at NASCAR.com sent me a text while I was in the middle of the NBA playoffs and let me know. So I'm always a fan of that because if you think about it, Tom, that's funding for a while, isn't it?
That is funding for a while, and you know the what happened on Saturday. I was fishing in a charity golf tournament. I watched the highlights later and literally had goosebumps when Jeffrey Earnhardt. They did that deal 2 weeks ago. They put this deal together for Jeffrey Earnhardt to run the number 3 car, black number 3 car at Talladega for Richard Childress. Larry McReynolds on the box. Have you seen the highlight of the final lap? I mean, that kid is slicing and dicing. You know, I mean, it was like the 3 car. I literally had goosebumps. I mean, it was the 3 car coming from 5th to finish 2nd on the final lap, and he was, you know, dipping and diving and going everywhere. It looked just like what it looked like 20 years ago. I mean, it was amazing.
When I get off this chat, I'm going to call a buddy who's a producer at NASCAR and have him send me the scoop. That is an injection that sport needs badly. And I know that they had struggled for a few years, but in the last 18 months, I've heard that things are turning into a really positive direction. In more ways than one, honestly, Tom, from behind the scenes, I think things are going well for NASCAR.
Like the NBA playoffs, the ratings are way up, double-digit way up. The ratings for NASCAR are up 17% right now. They literally think that the announcement that Jeffrey Earnhardt was running a 3 car on Saturday at Talladega resulted in a 25 to 30% increase in fans that showed up to see the race. Of course, Sunday was sold out. So, yeah, I mean, there's, you know, those kind of things that happen. But, man, I went to NASCAR.com and just watched that final lap, and it's really cool to see. I mean, just to watch it and then to see the reaction of Larry McReynolds was really neat stuff. Boy, the Celtics, they look pretty good, man. I mean, they just took the Nets out behind the woodshed and just finished them off like a boss. I mean, you know, the Sixers are having a hard time doing that with Toronto, but the Celtics certainly wasted no time with the Nets. That was something.
Yeah, last night I was watching that game. Kevin Durant brought it last night. 39 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds. He was there. Kyrie Irving, to me, was late. He didn't do enough in that game early enough. But Boston is just – I compared it – you'll remember this, Tom. The first time that the Bulls won the championship, they beat the Showtime Lakers, and it was an aging Lakers squad. And I remember going into that series thinking, it's Showtime, it's back, the Lakers are going to win, blah, blah, blah. And just a younger, hungrier, more athletic team, a quicker team to the ball, beat them and beat them good. And I felt that way watching Boston last night. I just thought, first of all, Jason Tatum, absolutely unstoppable. Everything he does comes up gold. But they've got 3 scorers there with mixing in Jaylen Brown, who from Atlanta, a kid who was the number 1 player in America in high school, Marcus Smart, who has he's evolved as an NBA player and has sort of taken the reins at point guard for Boston. And that allows them to just play an enormous lineup with Smart, Brown, Tatum, Horford, and Tice. They're just a gigantic team out there that gets all over the court. This team is special, man. I'm sitting here thinking about it last night and this morning. They may be the championship favorites right now. They're that good. This is, some of this is Brooklyn should have been better. They really should have been. But I don't know that Brooklyn at their best has anything for this Celtics team. That's how good they are.
Does that include at their best if James Harden was still there? And by the way, I have a Doghouse disciple, the guys that worked with me in various markets and so on that go on to other markets. He's from Philadelphia. He worked with me in Nashville and then went back to Philadelphia and does radio up there now. And we had a healthy argument when they got James Harden. And I was like, James Harden's a lot of things, but I don't know what you can win with James Harden, and he went nuts. He just killed me, on that deal. And now here we are, with the Sixers, struggling to finish off, Toronto. If Harden is there, everybody's healthy. Is it totally a different deal or what?
I don't know. Harden doesn't seem like the same player anymore to me, honestly. He's having trouble getting past the defender. He's lost a bit of explosion. He can still play in spurts, man. He can still put up big numbers, and he's a great distributor of the basketball. I don't know that he is MVP or near MVP caliber James Harden anymore. And I will say this: he's better than Ben Simmons, who's just sitting there. So, he's an upgrade over Ben Simmons, but I don't know that he can lift that team or would have lifted Brooklyn. He's another option. Kevin Durant's going to always be number one there, and as long as he's healthy and able to produce the way he is. But James Harden would have helped. He would have helped. I just don't think it's enough. I think this Boston team is just the turning of the page in NBA history. I think this is one of those young teams. Look, I thought it was going to be Memphis as well, and it still could be Memphis this year. But I just think you're seeing one era sort of come to a close and a new era open up with the NBA this year. And maybe that started last year with Giannis leading Milwaukee to a title.
I really like the Celtics, the way they play and everything. I just can't pull for them because of my Knicks thing. My stupid Knicks thing keeps getting in the way for me to actually, pull for the Celtics.
Knicks versus Celtics versus Nets. Who do you pull for?
Oh, Celtics all day. Are you kidding me? I was glad that they wasted it. The only thing that's worse than watching bad Knicks basketball is watching bad Knicks basketball while the Nets are the NBA favorites to win the championship, like they were at the beginning of the year. Because that didn't work out so good. You know what I mean? It's like a Yankees-Mets thing,
I think the Nets are a bit like the Chicago White Sox in Chicago. They're always going to be second choice to me. That's just my guess on things. But even if they'd have won a title, I still think there's a lot more Knicks fans up there.
Oh, there's no doubt. Think about it. They still pack the Mecca, and they have sucked for years. People don't. I say this all the time. I say this about Tennessee football all the time. Tennessee Vols. There's a whole generation of people that don't realize how crazy it would be if they were playing winning football with the Tennessee Vols, how those fans would come out of the woodwork. It's the same thing with the Knicks. If the Knicks were a 2 seed or a 3 seed or a 1 seed or going to the NBA championship finals or the conference finals and stuff, you would see Knicks fans come out of the woodwork. Same thing with the Cleveland Browns. Come out of the woodwork. It's just been so long since they were regularly competitive. You don't know about them, but they're lying in wait. If the Knicks ever figure it out and get the right guy and get rid of the owner, they're lying in wait.
Yeah, and believe me, it seems like it was those players' choice to go to the Nets rather than the Knicks. Kyrie and Kevin Durant, they could have gone to the Knicks, and it's just wild to me that they've made that choice.
Yeah, well, that's a James Dolan thing probably, but in any event, another team I really like to watch, though, two teams that I'm kind of gravitating to right now is Jay Moran and the Grizzlies. I just like the way they play. The Timberwolves putting up a good fight there. That's a really good series. Big game there tonight. And I really like this Dallas team. This Luka Doncic is a unicorn, man. What he does from the outside, the inside, take it to the rack, shoot from the tree, passing. It's just a joy to watch that kid play, especially when he's healthy like this. They're going to be a little bit of a problem, I think.
I had a thought last night that he is sort of a combination between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. He does some of the things that both of those guys did well. He's an incredible mind-bending passer like Magic Johnson. He can handle the ball like Magic Johnson. He doesn't press it on the fast break quite the same way. But he's a shooter like Larry Bird. He's really smart with his fakes and his feints inside like Larry Bird. He's just like both of those guys, clutch as the day is long. This guy really brings it. And, he's coming back from a calf strain. This is not a enormously athletic guy. He carries a lot of weight. And he's up there putting up 33 and 13, and he just backed just as if everything is normal immediately. Like we live in an era where it feels like, I'm not saying it's certain, but it feels like NBA players will nurse an injury and let it linger and not come back and not come back. Yeah. And then Luka's right back out there. He wants it. So, regardless of the truth or not, the perception is this guy's out there laying it on the line, and fans are going to gravitate towards that. He is going to be, if healthy, one of the 3 or 4 best players in the league for the next 10 years. He's a superstar. And for Dallas to just put him together right after you lose Dirk, it's almost like Joe Montana going to Steve Young or something like that. It's just incredible that they have these 2 unbelievable franchise linchpins back-to-back like that.
Yeah, Europeans too, besides. I mean, it's just kind of crazy there. You mentioned playing through the injuries and so on. It doesn't hurt, when you've got, or it doesn't help, maybe I should say, when you got Shaq unloading on Ben Simmons. That's setting the national narrative. You know what I mean? I mean, we could talk about Zion Williamson as well, in a moment. But, I mean, what do you think about Shaq's comments about Ben Simmons? About, man, you just go out there, you figure out a way to be on the floor in a critical game like that. Dude never once suited up for the Nets at all.
Yeah, and, I heard a report last night that there's some internal frustration on the part of the Nets with Ben Simmons, and I get it, man. I really do. I'd add that I think Shaq feels a little more licensed to say something because of that LSU connection. Mm-hmm. And I think that, he'd like to see Ben Simmons out there playing. I think he cares about him. I think he wants what's best for him. But I think he also knows this is not a good look, man. It's really not a good look. The thing I've thought for a long time is, who's handling PR for Ben Simmons? How do they let this story get so bad? I mean, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. If you ask me, this all started when he and his management got together and said, you know what, I don't want to be in Philly anymore, and I just signed a huge contract, but I think I should be able to sit out the year and get paid while doing it for no good reason. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a horrible decision to come to. You figure out a way to get on the court, and if you want to push for a trade behind the scenes or even publicly while you're playing, you do that. But, the way they handled that, and then I just think it snowballed out of control from there. I hope the best for Ben Simmons because he is a unique talent. I mean, bigger than LeBron James, and a guy that just has all the athletic ability. He's a natural passer, can't shoot to save his life. But this is a guy who could really lift a team. If he was healthy and he was playing with the Nets, I don't know that they win it, but it's a different series.
Yeah, but I mean, battle. It was just terrible. It was just a terrible look. The whole way that whole thing went. He came off as soft, and it's the worst thing you can be called is soft. And it came out like that he was a metal midget or he was soft or he couldn't handle it, and that's where the problem.
How does he come back, Tom?
That's what I'm saying. How do you come back from that? Yeah, you got to go play. He needs to go play maybe in one of the smaller markets or something. I don't know. I don't know how.
Well,
it
his
works.
Trade value is nothing.
Zero.
His trade value is nothing right now because you got to carry that huge contract that NBA contracts are guaranteed. So you got to carry that huge contract for I think 3, maybe 4 more years, and you don't know what this guy's going to give you. It's sort of the same complaint with Kyrie Irving. If you pay the guy, how much is he going to show up? He's played in less than 50% of his regular season games with the Nets as Kyrie. So you're paying these guys, and if they don't show up for work, there's 2 things. One, that hurts the team's performance. That hurts you at the gate also. That hurts your investment in these guys because if fans don't know if these guys are going to play, why am I going to pay these huge prices? It's a big problem that the NBA is going to have to get their head around. And, Ben Simmons could legitimately, have some problems. He really could. But, him working with the teams to try to solve that is, to me, a better look. And that's where it gets back to me thinking, how did his management team let it get to this? How did they not sort of figure out a way to put Ben Simmons in a better light during this process and help him out? Because, to me, they did him no favors in this process.
Bo Estes with us, NBA TV, NBA.com, talking NBA playoffs here as we're getting near the end of the first round. We've got some games or some series that are very, very competitive, which is great. Who is hurt more, the Bucks without Chris Middleton or the Suns without Devin Booker? Because, both of those teams, the defending champ and the team that had the best record in the NBA this year, both of those teams have had some struggles, without their big-time stars. I think that the Bucks will go ahead and finish off the Bulls, but I don't know how competitive they can be with the rest of the East with Miami and Boston if they don't get Chris Middleton back. And Devin Booker, the Suns might be in trouble, man. I mean, that game tonight is huge.
Yeah. I think obviously, to me, the Suns are hurt more with the loss of Devin Booker, who, in my view, is perhaps first-team All-NBA this year. He's the Suns' best scorer, if not their best player. You can make an argument perhaps for Chris Paul. But Chris Paul without Devin Booker seems like a different animal. The one thing I'll say for the Suns is they can replace Devin Booker with a guy who can shoot, and he can do some things. He's just not nearly as good in Cam Johnson, and it hits them as far as depth. Chris Middleton is the Bucks' second-best player. He's an all-star to me. He's a shooter for sure. But the Bucks may have the best player in the NBA on their squad, in Giannis, who does it on offense, who does it on defense, and this is the time of the year that he plays for. He has got his individual awards. He doesn't care about that anymore. So I think the Bucks with Giannis are still maybe a favorite to win the championship. And if Chris Middleton gets healthy and he's able to spread the floor so Giannis can drive those lanes, even better. They know what it takes to win a championship, and they've got a leader that can get them there.
The Pelicans, in the meantime, they're doing whatever they're doing and playing so competitively, coming out of the play-in deal, and they've done this all year without Zion Williamson, and he looks like he's getting bigger and bigger, which can't be good for a bad foot. Doesn't play the entire season. I don't know if he's going to play at all. Of course, it would involve them, having this monumental upset against the Suns. It's ironic that Anthony Davis is sitting home watching this stuff, and Zion Williamson is sitting on the bench eating hot dogs, and the Pelicans are still playing. I mean, that's crazy. I guess it goes to the job that this coach has done, in his rookie year to have this team be as competitive as they are.
Well, there's a couple of things that I think are worth pointing out with the New Orleans Pelicans, and it doesn't get you a lot of sizzle. It's the picks that they've sort of put around Brandon Ingram and C.J. McCollum. The C.J. McCollum move was fantastic. Having a guy like Jose Alvarado hitting on him, having a guy like Herbert Jones hitting on him, those are two big wins for David Griffin down in New Orleans. So I think that really helps the team. But again, Tom, it gets back to me watching an NBA player who in the pregame is doing a 360 dunk, who's doing a dunk between his legs. And I'm like, what else do you need to be able to go out, even if he's giving his team 8 minutes a game, 4 minutes a half, something? My God, it just feels like there needs to be a dying desire to get out there. And here's the other thing I'll say to you. It could be that the Pelicans are playing this very carefully, too. That they're saying to themselves, I don't want to risk an injury because we'll look like fools if we stick him out there for 4 minutes and he goes and breaks his foot again because he's carrying too much weight. So we don't know exactly who's pulling the strings on that, but gosh, to see him in warm-ups and see him do a 360 dunk makes you think, if you can do that, you can do something on an NBA court with as much talent as Zion has. I think it's going to be very important for him next year if the Pelicans don't advance to really come into camp in shape, to value what he brings to a team and to put his career as the priority in his life. I think that's critical, and I don't know how happy he is in New Orleans, but he has to be a professional going forward. You can't get that out of shape. And to me, you're letting your teammates down, Tom. I don't know. Maybe that makes me sound like I'm old, but to me, you're letting your teammates down if you're not bringing your A game, especially now. If the Pelicans have Zion Williamson, if he miraculously showed up in Game 5, all of a sudden you're starting to think, how far can this team go? Yeah. If they got Brandon Ingram and they've got C.J. McCollum and they've got Zion Williamson who's played himself into shape, my gosh, they look like a real player.
Yeah, don't talk to me about guys, endearing a fan base. I was 10 years old when Willis Reed dragged himself out of the locker room, and hobbled out onto the court. I mean, that made me a fan for life right there. That moment, I became a fan of that team, for life just by seeing a guy do that.
And there's some guys that still do this, Tom. There's some. I mean,
sure they are. Doncic,
clearly a guy.
Yeah.
clearly a guy who goes out and does that. Giannis will play hurt. It doesn't matter to him.
Yep.
He will go hard all the time. It's just that there's, to me, at least for the NBA's appearance, there's too many guys right now who seem pretty darn healthy and aren't playing, and that to me is a concern.
And when you read about the foot injury, and I mean, you start thinking about Greg Oden, you start thinking about Sam Bowie, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, is this one of those situations? Is this thing like never going to be right? But if he's carrying 320 pounds, it's never going to be right. You know, he's going to have to figure out a way, to be better at that physically. Does Miami finish off Atlanta tonight down in Miami? And do we not talk about the Heat enough here?
We definitely don't talk about the Heat enough. They're the number one seed in the Eastern Conference, and they're the number one seed in the Eastern Conference for a reason. And I do think they finish off the Hawks. I think the Hawks had their one good game, and I think they looked pretty good in that win. But boy, the Heat came back and just punched them in the gut in a big way. The Heat play defense. They are a, this is stereotypical. They're a Heat team. They're tough. They're physical as heck. Trae Young commented about how physical they are, and they do not make it easy. These are teams that are built for the playoffs. Remember, they got to the finals in the bubble against the Lakers and lost. But this team has a load of talent. I think I overlook them. If you ask me my favorite in the Eastern Conference, it's probably Boston and Milwaukee, and then maybe I get down to Miami over Philadelphia because of what they've given up against Toronto the last couple of games. But I really don't think that I see Miami beating those teams, and I just could be wrong. I really could be, because they find players that are not big names. I mean, guys like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, stuff like that really contribute, but they aren't huge names like the guys that you see in Boston. So we'll see. I've been wrong before, but I feel like I'm overlooking Miami too, in answer to your question.
I got to tell you, I used to watch, if I was watching sports or what I was watching on a Saturday night in the wintertime, I used to time it up to go over to the NHL network to see, in between the first and second period, to see Don Cherry, because it was just so good, Coach's Corner with Don Cherry, and I just loved him. I kind of do the same thing a little bit now with the TNT show, the studio show. There is nothing on the planet in any sport that is good and is entertaining is that show. And like, I knew Dallas was blowing them out last night, and I was like, I just kind of timed it up, and I saw, okay, it's halftime. I saw the score, and I saw it's halftime. Ooh, let me put TNT on and just watch those dudes. And one of the funniest things I ever saw was when they went to Kenny to Jet. I don't know if you saw it, but they were going to go to Kenny, and they thought Kenny was going to head for the big screen. Shaq and Charles jumped out of their chair and started for the screen before Kenny got a chance to move, and they kept showing the slow motion of Kenny's movement and whether or not he was really going for the screen. It was hilarious. And Shaq standing in front of the big screen while Kenny did the highlights from the desk, and Shaq is pointing to different things. I mean, it's amazing. It's the best sports thing on TV right now that's not an actual game.
To me, it's the greatest sports studio show that we've ever seen. I don't know that, I'm biased. Look, my friend produces the show, and he has for years. But I just think that this show, the other thing is the way that it holds a rating versus other post-game shows is unbelievable. People like you stick around to see that show. And that's the reason why you'll see Charles and Kenny migrate on over to the NCAA tournament. People want to see those guys. And, there was the moment you mentioned, funny, when they go to do Kenny's analysis. There was another moment last night where Kenny's making an observational point about the game, and they've framed up on a one shot of Kenny. And you just hear a drink pouring in the background. And Charles had reached down to his red Solo cup below the desk, and he's pouring a drink while Kenny sits there. And so what happened, and this is where Inside is great, they go to the replay of Kenny turning his head and looking at Charles pointing his drink and stopping his comment, and they all just ride that. That's the genius of that show, is that they just let it go wherever those guys take it rather than following some really strict structure.
And Ernie is the perfect pivot man for all of that. He's the perfect play-by-play guy for those three guys. And it works so good on every way. And I don't know what – Charles owns a vodka company. He sponsors our March Madness contest with Redmont Vodka, which is his company. So I don't know what he was pouring into that cup. I'm not saying anything about anything. I'm just saying. He does own a vodka
It was
company.
unidentified, Tom.
Unidentified.
It was a red solo cup. You don't know.
That's right. All right. Always a pleasure. By the way, your question that you threw out there on the Twitter, forget about that. There's nobody on the planet. Forget about MJ. We don't know if there's a LeBron out there right now. Part of it is because the league is so deep, because you have a Giannis and you have a Luka Doncic and you have these other guys that are, and Steph is going to be Steph and for however much longer and so on. But Jokic, you don't have. There is not, though, that one dude. We had the Magic, Magic Bird. We had then the Michael, LeBron. There is not a transcendent dude out there, I don't believe. And I don't think he's in college either, because we don't know. They only play for a year in college. You know what I mean? You got a kid that left Alabama.
Now.
This J.D. Davidson kid has no right going into the damn draft. He's not going to be a first-round draft pick. Probably not going to get picked in the second round. And he needed another year at Alabama. I mean, he was sketchy. He turned the ball over a lot, did all this stuff, but he's got all this great potential, and he's in the NBA draft. That kid needed to go back to Alabama, like the kid who went back to Kentucky, whose name I can't say. We just, somehow, some way, we just don't have that guy. I don't think.
Think about it, though. The other question I posed on Twitter, NIL money may keep these guys in college.
I hope.
I know it did for Armando Bacot at North Carolina. The reason he is back is because he's getting paid NIL dollars. I mean, he was not a great NBA prospect, but his prospects would never have been higher. However, there's NIL money to be made, and what we were talking about yesterday, maybe the team is out of scholarships, but you can still sell players on coming. And boy, Alabama football will be able to do this with NIL money. Yeah. It's a game changer to me. It's an absolute game changer.
Yeah, there's no doubt that part of it could help college sports in a great way. All right, I appreciate you as always. Great stuff. A half an hour we just did with Bo Estes. I have to send you a little extra money in your check this week. But I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Take care, buddy.
The NIL question that Bo presented on Twitter was a phenomenal one, and I don't know the answer because I'm not that talk show host that pretends like he knows everything. I'm just here to entertain and edify, so I don't know the answer to this. When we come back, I'll tell you what the question was, and it's a fascinating NIL question, and if you know the answer, certainly call in and let us know, 256-576-4977. And Mike Florio says that the NFL draft is un-American. Are you kidding me, Mike Florio? Back with that next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
NBA playoffs tonight. In the East, the Heat a 7.5-point favorite over the Hawks in Game 5. Miami leading 3-1. In the West, the Timberwolves +6 at the Grizzlies in Memphis. The series tied 2-2. And the Pelicans and Suns tied 2-2. Phoenix a 6.5-point home favorite in Game 5. Updated Kentucky Derby odds. Epicenter the odds-on favorite at +450. White Albario and Taba each at +700. Zandon +1,000 with Messier and Charge It at +1,200. The 2022 Derby a week from Saturday. Baseball, the Braves hosting the Cubs starting tonight. Atlanta -175 on the money line. Chicago +145. The over-under at 8.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Did you know that your car, truck, or SUV may be worth over 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we'd love your trade-in for a personalized custom factory order on a 2022 Explorer, Expedition, Ranger, or F-150. You'll get exactly the color and options you want, and Woody Anderson Ford will save you 5% off MSRP, plus you'll get any additional Ford factory rebates. Or if you need a new ride today, choose a Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicle. We have over 100 to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with our 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. At Woody Anderson Ford, whether it's a new order or a pre-owned, we promise to always do the right thing. Corner of George and Sparkman, hope to see you soon.
Whoa, Greg's up.
He's never up this early.
Hey, guys. Okay, so this is called a Bell Breakfast Box from Taco Bell.
Oh, thanks. I can read. And that's a coffee. Helps you open your eyes.
And that's a breakfast burrito. You can start from either end.
You guys always this condescending in the morning?
Pretty much.
Wake up with the new $5 Bell Breakfast Box, filled with a grande toasted breakfast burrito, hash brown, 2 Cinnabon Delights, and a coffee. At limited participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only. Contact local store for prices, hours, and participation, which vary. Tax extra. Drinks excludes freezes.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
The Trash Pandas are at home this week playing their in-state rival, the Birmingham Barons. Thursday night features the first bobblehead giveaway of the season. Friday and Saturday always include post-game fireworks, and on Sundays, kids get to run the bases. Get your tickets now at TrashPandasBaseball.com. Trash Pandas Baseball. Have a blast. Let's rock it.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
The Braves are back, and they're on a mission to defend the East, defend the National League pennant, and defend their world title.
Line drive, that is through. It gets through. Here comes Dansby, and the Braves walk it off. This is unbelievable.
Tonight, Truist Park comes alive for a huge National League matchup as Matt Olson and the Braves take on the Chicago Cubs. Braves Radio's on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Gone are the 80s across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s under a partly sunny sky. Dropping into the lower 40s as we hit into the overnight. Plenty of sunshine for your Wednesday. Really is going to be a beautiful day, though once again, temperatures a bit below average. Highs again only climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s. Mid and upper 40s as we head into the overnight. Plenty of sunshine through your Thursday afternoon. Temperatures back in the mid and upper 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Download our app today. Just search 97.7 ESPN.
It's water and dust resistant.
That's 977 ESPN. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And that's it.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm ready for it.
Segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. North Alabama Mortgage has the product that you need, whether it's conventional, VA, FHA, or USDA loans. They can get it done for you at North Alabama Mortgage. They're serving all of Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, the whole shooting match, and they do an absolute tremendous job. And, you know, one of the things, too, about North Alabama Mortgage that you may not know is they can help you out. You know, buying a home right now in this market is really tough, and it can be very challenging because these houses are up and they're gone. Boom, just like that. Well, North Alabama Mortgage can show you how to get your offer accepted. Okay, so if you're looking to buy a house, you need to talk to North Alabama Mortgage and be ready to go, and they will help you getting your offer accepted. Now, rates are rising, so now may be the time to use the equity in your house to pay off any other debt that you have or to do home improvements or anything like that. Go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. Phone lines are open. Rest of the show, 256-576-4977. We'll get you in. 256-576-4977. Now, I'd have to defer probably to Drew on this. Maybe Grizz knows. I don't know. But this was the question that was posed by Bo Estes on the Twitter yesterday that I responded to. And I hadn't really thought about this during the whole NIL thing. And here's the question. For a player that's getting a buku dollars from NIL, I'm talking about Quinn Ewers money. I'm talking about Bryce Young money. Bryce Young's making $1.5 million in NIL. Do you have to use a scholarship on that guy? Think about it. I mean, if they're talking about Arch Manning or they're talking about
He's
this
an employee.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, why can't he just pay for his own school and save that scholarship for another player? See, what I'm saying is that if that kid that went to, Nico, I'm a Maleva, the kid that went to Tennessee, they think he's the $8 million guy that's got $8 million in NIL money lined up. So if he's got $8 million that he's making on his name, image, and likeness, school out of his $8 million and save that Scully for another player?
Here's my question. Is he going to?
Well, here's my question.
Would they even do that?
Here's your question. Here's my question. Yeah. Well, why not? Or the guys that these collectives, right? The collectives, like not at each of these major universities, they have these collectives that have all this money together for NIL. Why aren't they just paying for the kids' education? They pay the kids' scholarship. In other words, if the collective, you got this collective. Well, if the collective basically says to the kid, we've got deals lined up for you for $250,000 or $300,000, and we're going to pay for your education. Can you use that scholarship? Can you sign 25 kids to scholarship and have another 4 guys that are your top guys that are getting paid by the collective or by NIL to pay for their scholarship? See what I'm saying? Or in basketball, however many it is. That kid that came out of California that went to the prep school in Georgia, Or the kid at TSU. Let's use that example. The kid that is, DJ, his daddy is somebody, some rapper, right? His daddy is, PJ Jazzy J or something like that. Who was his daddy? Remember, his daddy is somebody, and his daddy's a rapper. Power P, Rappy PP. I don't know what the guy's name is. He's one of them. He's got like letters and names in there. What? His father was a basketball player. Played in that 3 thing. That Master P. Master P. Yeah, Master P's kid. Okay. Can you still call him Master P, or do they got to call him Primary P now? If you can't say Master Bedroom and Master Bath on HGTV, if you got to say Primary Bathroom and Primary Bedroom, can you call, is he now Primary P? Can we not call him Master P? We got to call him Primary P? His kid went to TSU. Got $2 million in NIL money to go to Tennessee State in Nashville. Why is Tennessee State got to pay him a scholarship? I don't know. You don't know. Drew would know, maybe. You don't know, right? If you can save that scholarship. I don't know. Maybe Grumpy knows. Grumpy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Sorry I couldn't get this question in on Monday. I couldn't get in, but when the NASCAR finished, you saw the last lap on Talladega 500.
Yeah.
Now, I like to see rubbing and racing and all that 3 wide, but on that last lap, when the 5 car put the monster car into the wall on the last quarter mile.
Yeah. It's the other way around, wasn't it? Was it the 43 block?
Yeah. I'm not. I like NASCAR. I'm not a hater. I'll watch it. I'll go there, but I don't know all my cars. Yeah, maybe I do. But I did see the end where I think it was wasn't it the monster that got put into the wall or no?
No, it was that. It was the 43 car. Well, yeah, you're talking about the Kurt Busch. Well, what happened on the last lap was 43 was leading the Air Force car. It was green. The Air Force car was leading, and Kyle Busch had a run, or Kyle Larson had a run on him in the 5 car. He moved up to block him, and those 2 guys made contact and wrecked while the 1 car came underneath and won the race.
I saw the 5 car, a blue 5 car,
right?
Just hang a right and slam force the monster car into the wall, who hit the wall really hard, and I don't think even finished the race. That's what I'm talking about. I sent you a clip of it.
Was it on the last lap?
I guess we're talking about 2 different things.
Was that on the last lap?
It was on the last lap. It was about 10 seconds.
So it wasn't like coming down the one. It wasn't the one coming down the stretch.
And when you look, it's egregious. That's why I'm not just calling it nitpick. I mean, it's egregious, and I don't even think he's going to get penalized.
Yeah.
But look at the clip I sent you. Sorry I couldn't explain it better, man. But a great show today, man. Thanks.
Appreciate you. If UAH brings hockey back, I wonder how players will do with NIL. Huntsville loves hockey. That's from Grumpy on the text window. No big bucks with some bucks. Yeah. I think they could get NIL money, and it wouldn't be just from Huntsville businesses as well. But they basically are kind of getting that when Sheldon Walensky's company is putting up $1 million a year. I have to see the video. I have to see the video that he sent. I haven't seen it yet. The video he's talking about. And I watched that thing. Brandon wanted me to ask Bo if he favors a single shot of nitrous. Brandon, get off the nitrous. We're not going to have nitrous.
No Fast and Furious in NASCAR.
There's no Fast and Furious in NASCAR. We're not going to have nitrous in the NASCARs. Cars. Jeez. Stop with that. So, Mike Florio. I'm going to find the story. Mike Florio says that he thinks the NFL draft at its core is un-American. All right? This is what he had to say. He says he said this in his book that he's been pumping like crazy. All right. He said it really is un-American. There's no industry other than professional sports where someone who enters a workforce cannot pick where they are going to live, cannot pick who they're going to work for, cannot pick who they're going to work with. They just have to submit. The players are brainwashed. The fans are brainwashed. We just accept that that's the way it is. You can't push back against it. Well, you can. They just don't do it often enough. This is what he said. Now, of course, it has happened a couple of times. John Elway was drafted by the Baltimore Colts and said, I'm going to go play for the New York Yankees, and went to the Yankees minor league system until they traded him to the Denver Broncos. Eli Manning's daddy said, we're not playing for the San Diego Chargers. So the Chargers picked Eli Manning, and the Giants picked Phillip Rivers, and they traded him for each other because they weren't going to go there. But having said that, it doesn't happen very often. And I don't know that it is an un-American thing, because here's the way I look at it. First of all, if the players just picked where they were going to play, there would be no Cincinnati Bengals. There would be, I'll be honest with you, there'd be no Green Bay Packers. Because as much as the Green Bay Packers are a historical thing and everything like that, nobody wants to go to Green Bay and live in Green Bay. Green Bay's the size of a little bit bigger than Huntsville. Nobody wants to go to Green Bay and play there. And Green Bay, to be honest with you, too, has a reputation of being lily-white and a little bit tough on African-American players. There are African-American players that say it is miserable to live in Green Bay. There's just not a lot of culture there for them, and so on and so forth. There wouldn't be a team in Cleveland. There wouldn't be a team in Buffalo. There wouldn't be a team in a lot of places. You'd have the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins and the Atlanta Falcons and the Tennessee Titans and the New Orleans Saints, maybe. You'd have a team in Arizona. You'd have like 6 teams in Los Angeles and 3 in New York. You couldn't have a league that is balanced without the draft. The other way to look at it is this. The NFL in and of itself is a business. When you are drafted into the NFL, you go to work for the NFL. If you go to work for a major corporation and they say, we're hiring you and we want you in our Denver office, you go to the Denver office. If they hire you to be a part of their company and they say, we want you in New York, you go to New York. If they say, we want you in Philadelphia, you go to Philadelphia. Or you don't do it, and you go get a different job. So this is what I would say to Florio and anybody that thinks that the NFL draft is un-American. If you don't want to go play in Cincinnati or in Cleveland, then go do a different job. This job, you work for the NFL. And the NFL will basically transfer you or put your job in whatever one of these cities to create this competitive bid. You want to make $40 million a year, like the going rate is for top quarterbacks? You better have a product that people want to watch, that is competitive, and that has 32 teams. You could say it's un-American. You can have the players all decide where the hell they want to play. We'll have 8 teams. Nobody will watch it, and you can make, $800,000 a year instead of $40 million a year. Let's get a break. Come back and wrap it up next. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood
of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Gone are the 80s across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s under a partly sunny sky. Dropping into the lower 40s as we head into the overnight. Plenty of sunshine for your Wednesday. Really is going to be a beautiful day, though once again, temperatures a bit below average. Highs again only climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s. Mid and upper 40s as we head into the overnight. Plenty of sunshine through your Thursday afternoon. Temperatures back in the mid and upper 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey, North Alabama, this is Chuck Oliver. We've got college football all over the place, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
Where would this college be without football?
Listen to me weekdays at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All your injury needs, it's TLC Sports. No matter how you get hurt, work, play, father time, whatever it is, you can get fixed at TLC. They've got the answer for you. Badger Larry says that Green Bay is smaller than Huntsville, 104,000. Well, that's good, Badger Larry. I'm glad you said that. I thought Green Bay was over 300,000. Maybe that's Green Bay and the surrounding area, maybe? I thought Green Bay had over 300,000 people. Huntsville's at 200,000. So he's saying that Green Bay is half the size of Huntsville proper. Now, Huntsville, when you add in Decatur, Athens, and the general area, is 500,000. So, yeah, he's right. Can you imagine Huntsville with an NFL team? We got the NFL. The Huntsville Packers.
Oh, I missed the Birmingham Bolts.
The which ones?
The Birmingham Bolts.
Which league
the
were they
Thunderbolts.
in?
That was the XFL, original.
Oh, the original XFL.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
I always called them the Bolts.
Yeah. Well, that's
Big
like
B.
that's what a lot of people call it, Chargers. They
Yeah.
call that, that now. text window, so he gets money from his job and has to pay for the scholarship now. What does one have to do with the other? Well, what I'm saying is that if you say to the kid, this is the NIL question. I'm saying if the kid can afford to pay for the scholarship, does it make sense, especially if the kid is given money by the consortium? So if they say, okay, we're going to give you this money and earmark it for your scholarly, so that the program still has their 25 scholarships to give away. If I'm a kid and I'm getting $1 million a year, $1.5 million a year to play college football at a particular school, I want my team to be as competitive as possible. So I think the kid might say, all right, I got $1 million here. I'm going to pay $20,000 or $25,000. What's in state at Alabama? Still like $16,000, $18,000, let's say. I'm going to pay my way. Really, you're paying my way. The consortium is paying my way. You use that scholarship to go get me another receiver. You know what I mean? I don't even know if you can. I don't know. I'll ask Drew at the staff meeting. I'll ask Drew at our staff meeting 20 minutes after the staff meeting show starts. All right, that's going to do it. Coming up next is Chuck Oliver, Paul Feinbaum, and at the Furniture Factory, The Drive, and then the Braves and the Cubs, all on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year